You ready? Okay. We're going to bring to order the January 7th meeting of the Board of Selectmen. Open session public meetings are subject to being videotaped. Your image and voice may be recorded. We have a few minutes. We have one set of minutes, January 3rd. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
And a bill schedule for Fred Davis Corporation from FY19.
It's for
Special.
streetlight parts.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I was going to say SPART, special article. For 3243.75.
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have we have energy contracts, energy committee contracts, MAPC contract with Arden Electric, and the National Grid incentive documents.
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
Anything else? We're all set?
Mhm.
Okay, all in favor? Say aye.
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 Now, George needs those contracts like yesterday. So if we can, I don't know, if you're able to get them to him tomorrow morning, Mary, or if you want Tim to just take a scan or a copy tonight
You can
and
take
get
them
them.
tonight. Just give me a copy.
He tried to get me to chase you down last night, and I said, I'm gonna chase you down today, and I'm like, we'll do it tonight, George.
And Eloise needs to notarize this one.
Oh, yeah, she's not here tonight. So she's here tomorrow,
Tomorrow morning?
11.
Okay. Looks like
Want me to
just
just do it tomorrow?
3 signatures?
I
Okay.
can also come in
Why?
and get them so they can, oh, you can just do it, I guess you're gonna be here at
Yeah.
that time. I did not realize you needed a stamp.
I'm sorry, I didn't
Okay, that's done. Appointments to the Town Administrator Screening Committee. We have 8 volunteers. I think I had put together this list which fits everyone. We could have both of these. Both Greg and Janet as committee at large, or have him as a town appointed, oh no, Greg is up here, never mind. He is up there with a town appointed committee member. So it would be 2 for that one.
Are you thinking to appoint all 8, or?
Well, I do know that there's a possibility, I know Judy's daughter's getting married in March, so it would be nice to have someone that's an alternate.
Okay. Because the other
Um,
thing that I was thinking was Janet also wants to be on the fire. And I was wondering if we guarantee her a spot on fire, which I think, I tried to call her, but I couldn't get a hold of her. I think that is her main area of interest. So that's another option, but
Actually, it's
Up to
that
the
one,
board.
that's her main
Oh,
interest.
is it? Okay, because every time I've talked to her, it's been fire, fire, fire. but-
She goes back and forth, but that one I know she's very much interested in.
Okay, the only issue is then you have to have 5 of them in the room for quorum.
Right. Which I would hope that there would be, if that's an issue.
Okay.
Then it wouldn't be very good for what the committee outcome.
Yeah, but I mean, if
There-
you look at the people on the list, I doubt that you're gonna have an issue. You're probably gonna have to do afternoon meetings, because I know that she works till noon.
Yeah, you can't do afternoon meetings, you gotta do night meetings.
Okay.
Greg Tremblay, I think, would only be able to do night
And
meetings.
Scott Hawkins,
Right,
um,
so. Take some input from the board. If this is fine, I will,
I mean, they're all good
Yes, sir.
candidates. I
they
don't-
are.
Did we get any more in, Mary? Because I whizzed it out on Facebook as well.
That's
Any
all you
more
got.
today?
The fact that we
Okay.
got 8 is frankly
It's
Amazing.
amazing.
I'm good.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Give that to Mary.
That drops one?
No, there's 8.
Oh, I see.
Eight on.
Okay.
And then we have an appointment for Dennis Fearbay as an interim treasurer collector from May 13th, town election, through June 30th of 2019.
Did we get the job description? I saw the email go through, but I never saw a response.
He says he can get it for us in the morning.
Okay, we can approve that next week or at a later date.
Okay. Motion to approve.
Seconded.
Now, did you all read the letter that Mary put together too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you were good with that?
I'm good with it.
Okay. Motion and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, June.
Alrighty. There's another appointment that we have in mind. It's
Mike.
Sawyer to the Earthworks Advisory Committee.
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This is for you. Stick them in the folder here. We have time for one more thing. Did you all have a chance to review the local building inspector job description?
I did, but I wanted to compare it to others. And that comparison is sitting back at my house.
Oh,
So,
you want to defer it till the next
a
meeting?
week, yeah.
Is that okay with you?
Yes.
All right.
Thanks.
And the schedule for interviews with the town administrator, executive recruitment firm. Do you, what did we decide? Did we decide to have them on a separate night from our meeting? Or at a meeting?
Well, I was gonna ask first, there is one I would like to exclude based on reading them. I don't know how closely you guys got to look at them.
I didn't have too much of a chance, but
Okay,
Just-
so, Group White is littered with typos. Like, littered with typos. It's not even numbered right. It's yeah.
You're just disappointed with the,
Well, I think that we're gonna pay whoever this is a lot of money for attention to detail. And my concern is that there wasn't a lot of attention to detail. I also cannot access their website. When I called them originally, I had to call multiple times. There was some sort of noise, and then he was very abrupt with me on the phone. But I mean, if you look, there's an area in there where the numbering, there's 2 12s, 2 13s, no 20. It's basic stuff that if you proofed.
you had a chance to go through it too, Peg?
Oh, yeah, I red-lined them, or pink-lined them. There was one that I enjoyed, but then there was the other ones I had issues with. Is it your printing? Because my numbers are going up, okay.
Okay.
I had an issue also with this one. On the recruitment and selection process, it seemed weak compared, I mean, there were others that was like week 1, boom, boom, 2, boom, 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 and this one just said 18 weeks.
Okay, so mine skips from 19 to 20.
Oh, you went that way. All
It
right.
skips, yeah, we got 2 12s, we got 2 well, actually, does it go? Yeah, we got 2 13s. These are just basic,
Yeah, formatting.
and it's full of typos. Referral of finalist candidates to who? I'm just disappointed because, like I said, the contract we're gonna award
And he did follow up today.
is a significant amount of money, and if we can't get their best work,
Here.
if this is their best work for the application,
No, I agree. I have an issue with typos and that kind of thing.
and they're not little typos.
Do you agree, Peg, or do you want to wait and make it?
Yeah, and that was another one that I had my little spreadsheet printed out, also at home, that I had pros and cons on each. So, will it hurt if we wait a week?
If you want, I can schedule the other 2 if you guys want to see both of the other 2, and then we can decide whether we want to.
Bring this one?
Bring the other one in too?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
When would you like to try to schedule them?
Good question.
Well, do we want to do it during a selectman meeting or outside of a selectman scheduled Monday meeting?
Completely
I
up to
know-
you. We can always
I know
let the
we-
agenda be a little bit smaller and,
Yeah, I know we would like to get the screening committee involved, so probably evenings, early
Mhm.
evening. You have that whole job thing too.
the whole job thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I really can't come down
Well,
and play
she's-
during
yeah.
the day.
Ah, yes, yeah, that is an issue, huh?
Yeah, small issue.
So, we need to do it soon,
Okay.
within the next couple
See
weeks,
what-
I would say.
No, this is
We
coffee
are-
version 2, so we're here. And that's coffee version 2. And then this week you have a short week because of the holiday. So, do you want
We could
to,
do it the 22nd?
are we meeting this
Ooh.
week?
Yeah.
Are we meeting the week of the 22nd? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes?
Chris, I
Okay.
put that in front of you. Is it not in front of you? The schedule for the weeks to come?
I might be, am I in the wrong folder?
You are on
So
the
the
22nd,
22nd?
Tuesday the 22nd.
Yeah, I thought we were.
Okay,
And then the
so do you want
20th.
me to try for the 22nd?
Yeah, why don't you do
Okay.
that? We could do it at like, 7:10 and, how long do you think? 20 minutes, half an hour
I would say half an hour.
each?
Yeah.
And if they're not long, we can always do business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
You're gonna reach out to them?
Yeah. I will. Touch base.
Okay.
Okay, 7:10.
Well, we have an appointment. So, Joe, do you want to come on up?
Sure. This is Brendan Gilmore from the NRP
Hi,
Group.
how are you?
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm
Brendan
Peg.
Gilmore.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Chris.
Hi, Chris. Nice to meet you, Lisa.
Me too. All right. So, we had a letter from you.
Yep.
I don't know if you want to just share for the TV audience,
Yeah.
what we're talking about?
Sure. So the NRP Group is doing the project across from the hotel. They're putting in the 204 apartments, 21 buildings over there. So we've been having numerous conversations and meetings leading up to it. We had a kickoff meeting a few weeks back before the Christmas holiday. And NRP has graciously been able to afford a donation to the building department to help us get a part-time local building inspector in place to help with this project until we can make that individual full-time coming in the beginning of the fiscal year.
Okay.
If I can just elaborate a little bit on that
Sure.
from Joe. As we know, these projects sometimes create an extra demand on the town and especially building department as we start to go through inspection. Joe had come to me and asked if we could help his department with a contribution and or donation to the town on behalf of the NRP and the project to help Joe and his group. We recognize the strain it put on there, so we've graciously given that to the town to help kind of bolster the project and make sure we can the town isn't having an overload based off of this one project in the town. So.
Okay, so for this year, I think I have paper somewhere, but anyway, for this year, it would be paid by NRP the half-time, and not, it would be a part-time this year, or,
It would be part-time until July 1.
right, that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. One of the questions I had was, and I know you probably can't answer this, but is there a possibility of limiting it to the position for 2 years or however long money lasts? It's probably not an answer that you all can provide for me. Or,
We are employing them, they are not employing them, they are just giving us money. We decide how long somebody is employed by us.
well, what my concern is the possibility of benefits and unemployment when this person could possibly be finished with the job.
So they would be an employee of Berlin,
Yep,
full-time.
After
So I
July
would-
1.
Right, so I would assume that any benefits that a full-time employee with the town would have
we would have
They would
to
have-
pay those, and we need to budget for those then.
Yeah, that's what was put in my budget already.
Okay, all right. That was basically, what my questions were.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
I'm good.
Motion to, what are we doing? Are we accepting the contract with,
Motion for you to come back every Monday and sit with us.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
There you go.
I love that.
motion to
Let's not
sign,
approve that one.
sign the agreement? Is that what we're doing, signing the agreement with
Well, I'm not sure that there is an
every
agreement
month,
for us
or-
to sign. Do you have something?
I
that you
believe in
can-
the
Regarding
letter,
contract.
there was
A
a
letter,
secondary
or-
signature on that.
Um,
I think
I don't
you
think
might have
so.
signed it, Joe. So-
Yeah.
No, that's the budget.
I think we would like to have it voted into the town just to make sure it's a formal record.
Yeah.
And it's been accepted by you and the town.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't be a bad idea. Just that the agreement that the NRP group and I signed be recognized by the town and accepted in.
Okay.
So you're making a
So
motion
moved.
to? So moved, okay. Uh,
I'm reading.
I know, go ahead, take your time.
Well, no, I just wanted to, it just doesn't list the dates.
No. What is the initial?
So right now, the dates are a little bit flexible because, with construction, it starts and stops periodically. We're looking at a 24-month period, but to say the date that they start and the date that they stop can fluctuate. I mean, if there's weather conditions or unforeseen things that happen during construction, so.
My understanding is right now you're already doing the plan review and.
The plan
all of
review
those.
is done. We're getting ready to issue the permits. Right now, I've asked Brendan to hold off because we have our new permitting software that's going to go live next week, which will actually save him probably about $20,000 or $30,000 in overdue 3% fee surcharge that he doesn't have to pay. So I'm holding off until that gets done. But they've already started to mobilize. They got the fence up over there. They just brought the temporary trailer in for the job. So things are already starting to happen over there. Just getting fully.
When would you start pulling the permits, do you know?
I have checks getting pulled right now. I have to revise them based off the conversation me and Joe had today. So I was hoping Wednesday to next Friday we would be able to actually hand over the check to the town for the value of the permits, which would then allow for the issuance of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just so you know, the building permits themselves for all the buildings is like $334,000 just for the permits, and then they're gonna.
In addition, the trigger for the payment of the part-time inspector, the first trigger is pulling of the permits.
Right.
The second trigger is first occupancy, which we believe to be about 12 months.
Okay.
And this person will roll right into the full-time position?
That's my hope.
Okay. And then there's a process we have to go through in order to hire.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's going to be just like you would be hiring any other town
Right.
employee.
Mhm.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, this individual doesn't work for me. I have no affiliation with them. My contribution is to the town and how the building department sees fit for that.
Sort of like mitigation funds.
Yes.
Okay.
To assist.
Mm-hmm.
We just had to quantify it somehow and determination, and that's how we got to the letter.
Okay.
So, because there's really no set hours or no set months, I'm trying hard not to write on this. There's no set hours or no set months, you'll track and make sure that we don't go over the
That-
62?
That's why we've already included in the budget. So this person's coming on part-time, and then our budget that I just put in place that you guys approved has their salary included into that.
Okay.
So technically, the individual that comes in will be a Berlin employee.
Mm-hmm.
You said Berlin right this time.
Hey,
You didn't say it right the first time. Just saying, Joe.
I'm getting better at it.
I know you are.
I think the way you came up with the numbers is you calculated the
Yes.
rate
Right, and the
times the
hours.
number of hours we
Yeah.
anticipated.
Okay. So there's a motion?
And I seconded it.
Okay.
Good.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do you want me to just sign on the
Thank
bottom
you
here?
very much.
Come back anytime.
You
We're
wanna
here
sign
on
and date
Mondays.
it, that'd
We look
probably be
forward
good.
to it.
Then we can keep that on.
Me
file.
too.
We're excited about this
You gotta
project.
keep an eye on the trash, though.
Well, I've been working with them. I've been trying. I'll go over
I
there
go
and
by
pick it up.
every day.
I know.
And I get texts every day. Pick up the
I'll
styrofoam,
just-
pick up the
Gosh.
plastic. I'm like, I've
Yeah.
asked. Okay.
But I'll
Alright.
make sure I stay on top of that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure
Thanks.
meeting you.
Alrighty. So I believe the next thing on the agenda is is the treasure collector search discussion. And I wanted to ask you again, are we doing this ourselves? Are we doing this with a search firm?
Now, right now, we're pausing this one, right?
Well, right. I mean, there may be, I just want to know if there's something that we need to put on an agenda. Say, for instance, a screening committee makeup, advertised if any, you know, those kind of things. And I guess Dennis will get us the job description.
Yeah, I really don't think that we need a screening committee.
You think we can just do this ourselves?
I do. I do. We have knowledgeable people in the area who will help us. You with the ponytail and the glasses? Yeah. Yeah, you.
So we don't need a screening firm, do we need a screening committee?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
that's
Okay,
what-
because you
that
said
was-
Yes.
screening committee.
Yes, no
And I
firm
get it
committee.
because I
Yes.
do that a lot.
Yes, but that's what I
So we
meant.
want a screening committee.
Yes.
Excellent.
Mhm.
I think we do need some additional people
Agreed.
to do that. So we're advertising right now
Right now?
to our audience and the public.
To the camera, right now.
Um,
And then whatever the protocol is to put it in the, what, in the newspaper or
Right.
wherever else needs to go.
The ad, and the job description. So maybe we can put those things together by our next meeting and move on.
Mm-hmm.
Sound good?
Do we have a time?
We don't have enough warm bodies for all these committees.
I know, it might be doubling up a bit.
So then it would be to start July 1st, yes?
Be permanent, yes.
Will Dennis need to reapply if he wants it?
Yes.
Okay.
The fire and EMS department. Do we have the most recent? I read the one that I had been given last week. Was that the most recent, Mary? August 2016?
I don't have any record that that was approved by the Personnel Committee or the Selectmen.
Yeah. You don't know anything about that, do you, Paul?
I didn't hear what you said.
The job description from August 2016, is that the current one?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Got a copy right here.
Okay. Did you all have a chance to take a look at it?
Mm-hmm.
I know you had liked the one that Joe Flanagan had sent over. Were there things that you wish to incorporate?
I'm looking. It's in here somewhere. Talk amongst yourselves.
Well, I just happened to catch a couple of typos. That's about it. On the last line, the fire chief must attend at a minimum of 40 hours of continuing education provided by the Massachusetts Firefighting Academy or the National Firefighting Academy annually or equivalent as approved by the chief. If you're talking about a fire chief job description, the chief approves it. That doesn't sound right. Unless that was part of another job description that just happened to get cut and pasted in there.
All of them say that they have to be approved by the chiefs.
Yes, so that probably can just be crossed off or changed to as approved by the Board of Selectmen or something.
I don't think anybody needs to approve it. I
Doesn't
think
really
you
need to be
just-
approved.
No,
Right.
he just needs
Okay.
they just need to
Then I
go
would
to
say we
school.
just cross it off. And I can share the typos with Mary, they're minor.
And there were a couple items, I don't know if we want to do this, that there be a willingness to move somewhere near the area. Maybe not in town, but a touching border town.
I don't know if you want that in the job description, or that could be in,
My concern with that is that you potentially really limit your
I know.
pool of already small. And there's already a problem getting applicants.
yeah.
Alright.
Are you looking through Joe's?
I am.
Okay.
Alright, so he's saying that there should be a fire officer 3 class and certification that I don't think is on here. I didn't see it.
What it says is it must meet all the criteria of the deputy chief.
And it's on the deputy chief one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, it says meet all the qualifications of the deputy chief position.
I'm looking. There you go. Is the deputy chief
Yeah, down,
there?
well, this one says the captain position.
Well, they probably have to meet all of the criteria. The
Correct,
captain
they just
position
build.
As the,
Correct.
it's
They all
Okay.
build, you have to be
Strictly.
so this
Okay, that's
is the deputy chief.
Gotcha, yeah,
So that person needs to
Yep.
do everything that this person, who needs to do everything that that person,
right, okay.
and so on and so on. And then, so there's minimum of a BS or a BA, that's in here, I think. Yep, BS, BA down the bottom. So, in the job description, the chief must attend, oh, did you say this already? I wasn't listening. The chief must attend minimum 40 hours continuing education provided by MA Fire Academy.
Down at the bottom.
Oh, right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is it for comments.
so it's pretty much covered.
Yeah, it's pretty much covered.
And the fire chief, position titled fire chief should be fire EMS chief, which it says above it. Yeah,
Right, so change that to that.
right.
So we'll wait until those changes are made until we approve it, or do we want to approve it
With those changes,
with those changes?
that's fine with me.
Motion to approve with the changes.
Seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And I'll leave my copy in here.
Yep.
Mary. Alrighty. Advertisement, draft review.
It's kind of just a bare bones advertisement. You can use the same one as before, and the job description will be up online, and just give a link to people to go see the full job description. You just need to pick dates that you want applications received by, like a month.
At least.
And this is for the permanent.
No.
No,
No?
Interim.
Interim, okay.
Interim.
screening firm will take care of it.
Oh, this is the interim, it says right there.
It's the same one that was used before.
Okay,
So putting up the job description you just approved, it's gonna go up as interim?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, that's what we're looking for, yes, is an interim.
Well, it's the same really either way, I suppose.
It is.
but-
right.
And maybe the interim turns into the real one, but for now, the focus is on an interim.
The real
It may
one.
also be that the screening firm has comments about the job description, so
Correct.
it may
Okay.
be revised by then.
Okay.
So when do we want the applications in by? Today is the 7th. How long will it take you to put it in the paper or
Couple
wherever
days,
you put
couple days
it?
for everyone to actually post it.
So that's the end, let's just say it's the end of the week.
About a week?
And I think
Say,
you need
for
longer
example,
than
no,
that.
for example, if you're putting it, where are you putting it, in the telegram or the item?
The fire chiefs, MMA, I could do Telegram and Gazette.
Well, if it went in,
No, not the item.
okay, if it was in by the end of the week, which is the 11th,
Yep,
give it a week, the 18th.
And then you have to have a job posted for 10 days
Oh, 10 days, okay.
at minimum.
All right.
so 7, 8, 9, so that's the 22nd, if I count.
Mhm.
7, 8, 9, 10, yeah, the 22nd.
So we want to make, have either a special meeting or do it on the 28th?
Yeah,
28th. Deadline of the,
22nd.
an interview on the 28th.
Yeah,
Well, you'd have a screening committee whittle down who you want to interview, yes?
I would think so,
So
you
between the
need to give
22nd and the
them
28th.
time to do that.
right? So then maybe it's now the 4th, that the interim does the week of the 23rd and sometime into the 28th and hand us ready to go for February 4th, which is that Monday. Will that work?
for you?
scheduling finalists that night.
Yeah,
I think we can try.
yeah,
Put that as a target.
okay.
Right. Because we need to then to what, make up the committee.
So, are we okay with this ad?
Pay,
Excuse me?
you usually put pay in an advertisement. Same pay?
Oh, for a minute I thought you said Peg. I was like,
So did I.
Yeah.
How much pay, Peg?
$1 million.
First 100? First 100.
Oh, that's the, this is for the posting.
Oh, okay. Jeez.
So read from here up.
Mm-hmm. I think that would be something you'd negotiate with each individual. Am I correct?
Yeah, but you gotta put a ballpark. If someone says, oh, you're gonna pay me 10,000, they're not gonna apply. If you're gonna pay me $200 bazillion, then I'm gonna apply. I mean, you gotta put a ballpark in there, because it's only interim.
Right.
So-
So you need a bottom
Mhm.
with a plus sign.
So if you
Doing
go
math.
on, I am doing
Bottom.
math, I'm not using my giant calculator, I'm trying to do regular math. So if you take the current chief's salary, times it by a month, times it by 4 months, that's about $48,000.
The current chief's salary?
Right. So if he's leaving on March 1st.
Oh, what's left, yes.
What's left?
Okay, yep.
What's left? So we have 48, if I did right math, of what's left.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you want to put in for an interim position for 4 months?
Do we have comps on this?
Do we what?
Do we have comps on this? We don't have comps on this one.
Should we put let's put a range.
Well, I think I would, if you know a bottom, I'd put maybe the bottom in plus,
Okay,
and it depends on,
either way. So what's your suggestion?
I don't know, because I don't have comps.
Well, if you did 1,500 a week times per week times the month, then that brings you to 24. But do you want to pay somebody $1,500 a week? It's kind of high.
I'd like to look at comparable salaries and have a bottom of.
Correct.
And I'm,
We don't need to
where
put
did I
the,
see did I see the number 95 somewhere recently? As a bottom for something like this?
Probably.
It
Didn't-
could be something, it could be TA, it could be something else.
Well, no,
I'm
didn't we
sorry.
put that in there? Or isn't that what we're looking at, 90 to 120
Mm.
for the chief? So is that where you got your 90
Well,
from?
then why don't you put 90 plus?
But this is interim.
I know, but still, you're not gonna pay them the same that Chief Z gets just because they're interim.
Agreed. So, but what are you gonna put down? You can't put 90 down because it's only for 4 months.
Well, you can still put an hourly rate that's equivalent to 90 though.
Couldn't you just say so much, like 90,000 annualized,
Yeah,
and then they can do the arithmetic based on the length
exactly.
of their employment?
Yeah, but the bottom ballpark, if 90 is a good number, then put 90 plus and it'll depend on experience and
right,
negotiations and
right.
whatever.
Okay.
I think most applicants care what they make per year,
Yeah, and that's how they figure out what their,
interest level is.
yeah.
Lisa, I just sent you something that I sent. It's not comps from the personnel committee, but it was something I sent in June.
Maybe that's, was it? is that where I have this I get numbers stuck in my head
Take a look at it.
that are very random.
90-ish.
Yeah. I mean, if you do the math backwards, 90
No, that's
divided by
perfect.
12
Thank you, Mary.
is
See the populations,
7,500 divided by 4. Oof. It's like
Yeah,
18 a week.
So,
You have to by 52 weeks.
What's that?
52 weeks.
Right, 52 weeks.
In 2 days.
In 2 days. You're right.
Oh, you are so catching on.
and you can just word it as the equivalent salary would work out to,
Yeah, and that's 17, if you do 52 weeks,
So 15 to 2.
it's about 1,700 a week,
Okay, so why don't we do,
which I still think is exorbitant, but
it's for, how many weeks though?
To the end of the fiscal
16,
year.
March, April, May, June.
Yeah.
You're making me do math.
No, you don't have to.
No, I'll do math.
All right.
It's it'll round up, it's about 28. So it's about half, which I think is where we kind of started, sort of kind of did at 24. So you're looking at about 28.
It's 18 pay periods.
Yeah. Okay.
great.
So are we comfortable with the 90, approximately 90 plus?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I might, based on what I have from Mary here, I might do 95, but.
Are you comfortable with
Do you wanna
90?
see?
95.
I mean,
I'm comfortable with 90.
All right. And it will be negotiable.
yeah.
Correct. All right,
Okay.
All right, what?
90.
90.
90.
Okay.
March 1 through the end of the fiscal year.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So are we good with this advertisement then, including that in it?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Motion to approve?
Mm-hmm. Seconded.
All right, all in favor?
Applicants may apply for the final position.
What's that?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So now we need to make up the,
Screening committee?
yep.
Um, Did you have ideas for
Yeah, it's at home
those?
too.
They're at home too.
Everything's at home in my
Well,
work
I was
bag.
thinking,
I probably have the email, if you can tell me the,
I just sent an email today taking your town administrator screening committee and just changing it to say fire EMS
Fire.
chief. I
Okay.
sent
Yeah.
it late this afternoon, like
Okay.
before the meeting started.
awesome.
okay, sounds good.
Yeah,
It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
If you don't have a certain number in mind, then it's gonna be the same thing, see what you get for applicants.
yeah.
Do you want a deadline for them to apply by? Next
Yes.
Monday?
Well, yes.
Um,
Yeah, I
You've
mean,
got one in today, even though you haven't posted it yet.
The one thing I just wanted to note from what you had
Budget.
sent over was, I think it's a bad idea for board members to be on the initial screening committee since
Okay.
we have the final decision.
Okay.
That's right.
All
I
right.
think that
I agree.
Yeah, I'd
they
also,
should send us folks.
yeah, I mean, I'd also like not to have the current chief on the screening committee, because then that rules out any sense of bias.
Okay.
So we're talking about what date by which, if Mary can get this out there.
Well, if Mary
This
gets this
week
out and it's,
sometimes.
right, and it's in play by the 11th, and we wanted everybody back by the 22nd,
Noon on the 22nd?
noon on the 22nd, that all the applications are in by, then I would pass them over to the screening committee peeps, and they could probably start to interview this week, the week of January 28th, and whittle it down to us for the 4th.
That's aggressive, but, I mean, we can always move our meeting out
Correct,
if it doesn't work.
correct.
Deadline for volunteer, I didn't follow. Your
Deadline for
volunteer
volunteers would
applications
be January 22nd. Right, at
Yes.
at noon, so that we could
We
possibly
can decide that night.
decide that night.
Yep.
is- Okay.
All right. this is the draft advertisement for the volunteers. This is what you were saying you just sent late?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just this afternoon.
Okay. Looks fine to me. Did you wanna look?
Define
Did you see
resident
it?
volunteers. Define resident.
Berlin?
It's the same language you used before.
So it's gonna be Berlin, so that we're not gonna have any outside people.
Well, you
Well-
have an outside person for the town administrative screening committee. Does that
We
say
do.
resident only?
Says,
Doesn't say only.
yeah, is seeking resident volunteers.
Oh, well, you just appointed a non-resident.
We appointed two, but that's fine.
True, too.
So you may want to take that out because you had mentioned wanting potentially again the police chief on there.
Correct.
Okay, so why don't we just take that out?
Just put volunteers.
All right. Do we need a motion to approve this?
Motion to approve
committee.
advertisement for the volunteers.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And did we talk about the charge? I mean, it's generally.
That's what you wrote.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, And do we have any other discussion on the acting fire EMS chief candidates?
Okay.
Are we good? Okay. Okay, the FY20 budgets, the police capital requests.
I think he filed those with the capital planning committee, but not to the board. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I did not forward those to you. That was my fault. So that
Okay.
should have been part of his budget before. And they, just as as appointing authority, you need to.
I think we did talk about them a little bit, but I'm not sure. You said we didn't have a vote on record.
The first time he was before you held all the budgets a week. And
Right.
then when the budgets came back the next week, everything was in there the second week except for capital. So whatever you recall talking to him about.
Okay,
And it may have just gotten fuzzy because there was the communication was supposed to be pulled. For,
Right.
and maybe this, yeah, doesn't matter really.
so we have the police minor equipment, Ford Interceptor SUV, and upgrade to public facilities, public safety facilities, video security.
Did we decide what we were gonna do? Because remember, there was some talk about chief gets a new car and then a no car goes to the building inspector, but again, that's adding to the fleet, so where are we with that? I've
I think
lost
we-
memory.
Well, as far as I know, I think it's off the table, but because we talked about it would increase the fleet.
Correct.
You also took
Well-
gas out of the budget.
Right.
So you
Yeah,
mixed
so
it with
it's-
car.
We took gas out of the building inspector's budget, so.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to
The
approve.
capital?
Yeah.
Seconded.
Okay, is there any discussion?
Yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. What do we got here? Fire and EMS.
I had two questions for you on the budget.
Back again,
Uh,
live.
Do you,
Hmm?
do you
Sit back
have
again,
questions for
live.
him?
Yeah.
Or do you want him to come up?
Do you want to come up? Or do you want to stay there? I can yell. Not yell at you, but I can yell.
I don't like to yell.
You won't be able to hear Lisa, so come up.
That's right.
Hi.
He's taking a
Inevitably.
lip reading course, so he can hear it.
You're so soft-spoken up here,
Oh, yeah?
Who's so soft-spoken?
all of you.
Really?
Oh, no, we're not.
Well, I've got my hearing aid.
Yeah. So two questions for Hugh. As I was going through both budgets,
See,
when it came to the captain meeting, last year you had it at 0, but this year you have it 12 at 25. So what's the
say that,
change?
can you say that one more time?
So on the captain, on one of the spreadsheets, there was one that said captain meeting. And last year you had it at 0. This year you had captain meeting 12 at 25. So I didn't know what that was. Hold please, I'll find it for you.
Fire prevention?
Your call
Chiefs?
is important. Hmm?
Meetings at the end?
It's at chief meetings, or
Yes,
captain meetings.
Yes, it's chiefs meetings, and then there's fire prevention meetings. So when we go to the Fire Chiefs Association of Mass has a monthly meeting and training, and the Fire Prevention Association of Mass has a monthly meeting and training, and it's just to cover the cost for those trainings,
But why was there none last year and there's 12 this year?
because we didn't budget it for it last year,
Okay,
and now,
So this is a good thing that he's budgeting for it.
that is correct.
and we're participating.
Now, second question for you is, last week, did you say that your on-call people don't get paid for training?
They only get paid for mandatory training.
So is that, hold please, I'm looking for it.
About the fourth page
You're killing me, chief.
toward the front.
You know where I'm going with this.
No.
No?
No, but if you hum a
Alright.
few bars,
Okay, all right, so on your sheet, and again, it didn't matter which one, you had 13,000 budgeted last year, but you've more than doubled it for this year to 28.
correct,
Why?
because we're moving toward paying them for all training, and we have more mandatory classes this year. So we talked about that last year
Okay.
with the board, with the finance committee, that we can't keep requiring them to
people to
do
show up.
training without
Without
paying
anything.
for them. So we're gradually getting there. We told them over the next, 2 to 3 years, we'd like to get them so they're paid for all their training.
Okay, so it's going from 16
not.
hours a month to 32
Yes,
hours a month?
Yes.
Okay,
So the only thing we're not going to be paying for, at least, is EMS training, EMT training, because that's something that they can use outside of, the way we look at it, is something they can use outside of Berlin. They can work for a private ambulance service or anything like that. So we don't, there's not a push right now to pay for the EMS training. Right now, we pay for the 20-hour recertification class instructor to come in for them to maintain their certification and everything, so.
So we pay for the training, just not the time at the training.
Correct,
Okay,
on the EMS side, yes.
okay. But at least we pay for them to get the.
Correct.
so a question that I had for you, and more so for you ladies, is that last week, there was quite a bit of information that was shared around training, that Chief indicated that there's now training available for the firefighters, and I'm assuming the captains and the lieutenants, to help do some of the permits and the inspections. And that you said that you were also able to do it, and I don't mean to point, sorry about that, I almost flicked the pen at you, that you were also able to help into it as well. So I'm seeing this as a positive, because now there's more people who are able to do that. And then going back to the meetings that were done at night, it only works out to about 1.17 hour a week. To me, it makes sense to have, since there's window hours for the building inspector, mandated window hours, that you can use that time for a transfer of knowledge. So, given that, I'm inclined to make a motion to move the fire marshal to salary, but non-exempt, non-overtime, but not at the 80, but at the 67, because the time that would be spent in training, you now have a bigger pool of people to do, and there doesn't seem to be a great amount of hours per week that you can't have knowledge transfer with the position of the building inspector during the week. And you're both wondering, what did I just say?
No,
Don't look at me like
I
that.
understood what you just said. One of the things I do want to bring up is that I did have a really experienced firefighter come to me last year and talk to me extensively about the fact that normally the position is about 65 with overtime. That's kind of standard practice, was my understanding.
With overtime.
Which is with overtime.
Mhm.
Which is why we had gone through a whole big rigmarole to go that way.
Plus, there's
So-
3 hours of training every Monday night that position participates in. So there's another 3 hours. That's why we said 5 to 6 hours
So I guess
of overtime.
I'm
per
reluctant
week.
to take us out of standard with other communities. It would be, I think you're then, I think you are underpaying.
Okay, so what you're saying is that the 60,000 you're talking about does not include
Does
overtime?
not include
Okay, the
overtime.
way you were saying it, it almost sounded like it was including it, so.
Well, no,
Okay.
no. It's normally 65
65 to 70, and then overtime.
and then overtime is sort
Yep.
of my understanding of, and, you know, certainly you guys are welcome to do further research and
Okay.
correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I got for
Again, we did that all
how,
2 years ago, and the
How this
captain
position
in
normally
Boylston,
works.
that's what the captain in Boylston gets, the captain in
now I,
Northborough actually gets more
I think
than
that,
that, but
it's kind of up to the chief to monitor overtime.
Agreed, because I mean, if there's more people in the pool, then there's not a need for that. If meetings are an hour a week and there's an opportunity to gather the information from somebody who is here during the day or is also in the truck for a ride-along to go to various permits or inspections, I don't see a need for that. Training, I'm with you. If there is mandatory training, yes, but anything after that, to me, the information that was provided, last week and that is contained in the various reports doesn't support, to me, the $10,000 to $12,000 of overtime that's being requested.
I am gonna go back to, the meetings also. I do think that it's helpful on occasion, particularly in things like zoning, to have the person in the know there. They don't meet that frequently, and if you have to wait for that information, you're sort of throwing a large delay, which sometimes isn't even allowed. So just something to think about.
So what you're.
I'm not sure, I mean, I think maybe there are ways where folks could go and do the basic inspections or
Mhm.
as they're learning or those types of things. I'm just not sure you want to say, meetings are the place where things go, because I think things run more smoothly when you have all of the players in the room in order to move forward some of
have
this
to have the
petition.
continuity, and besides that, the newer folks haven't been trained yet. They have to be trained, so they're not going to be speaking on behalf of the department at a board meeting. They're getting trained to do, basic inspections that are done during the day, the LP gas, the smoke detectors, things like that. They're just getting trained to do that. When it comes to the commercial inspections, the commercial plan reviews, the meetings to be attended with regards to those, it's a whole different realm. It's a whole different level of training, education, and experience that it's going to take, and that doesn't happen in 2 months on the job,
I guess.
along with everything else. So.
My thought would be that where the overtime would go away would maybe be those basic sorts of inspections. If David, or the current fire marshal is going out and doing every single fire alarm inspection or those types of things,
But there's al-
maybe his time would be better spent with the commercial and the more complicated sort of things, and then you sort of ease other people in and start training them on the.
There's also we're taking time during the day so that when we train them to go out and do these, can spend more time with the full-time staff to teach them during the day his knowledge over the next couple of years prior to retirement, to try to get at least one of them, if not both of them, up to speed, so that hopefully one of them can take over and be able to do that in 3 years, be able to do that job and be able to attend those meetings and understand what to do and how to read plans and how to do the inspections appropriately. So it takes time to do that.
How long has the training been going on for that opportunity?
Which
To learn how to do inspections and permits, because I would assume that it's been
they've just
going on.
started. They started in October. They started right away, but it takes time. Again, we haven't even touched plan reviews. They've got to go to school for for that. I mean, we do some in-house, but there's gotta be some outside education that we have to send them to as well. And again, pulling them in a lot of different directions, we're also trying to get them trained, maybe one of them as a hazmat technician, so hazardous materials technician. Another one maybe in tech rescue training. So there's a lot of different avenues and facets, and we only have so many people to do it with. We only have 2 full-time folks, and it's difficult to have the call members trained to do a lot of those things because they just can't take 4 weeks off from their regular job to go and get training for us.
So if there's 3 hours of training that are mandatory and then approximately an hour a week, then it's really 7 hours of overtime for the month that we're looking at, not per week.
3 hours a week?
No. So you said that there were 3 hours of mandatory training a month, correct?
No. Each week, we have an officers or fire training to keep up on skills, knowledge, and abilities. So there's a meeting, a training session of some sort each week, and then there's other meeting nights. And then, but there might be a 5th Monday that we don't have a training. But, so it's again, it averages about 5 to 6 hours a week. And that's if there's no major incidents.
So you're talking 5 to 6 hours a week for your stuff, not for any other meetings that...
Total.
I don't know, the numbers just don't support it.
I guess my thought would be that we leave it at the 60, is it 67 right now?
Change.
67 with overtime. See how this year goes and what the feelings of the new interim or the new chief that we hire, how they would like to handle this going forward. And leave it as is right now.
Well, I know for this year, we really can't do anything about it, I'm just looking forward to next year.
I mean, it would be
That's-
next year,
she's
that's what
saying,
I'm
yeah.
saying, is we need to make a decision on this. My feeling would be, let's leave it at, because it's pretty standard in surrounding communities, leave it at the 67 plus the overtime, and
How much overtime?
that's a number you can play with, I guess. If we say X number of hours overtime, then it needs to stay under X number of hours of overtime.
But we've already gone over.
What,
Well,
I'm hearing you want
I
to
think-
use money for training.
Well, what I was thinking was that, so Chief provided us 2 budgets, one with a person, one without the person. So if we remove the overtime for the position of fire marshal, then I'm thinking that that money could go half-time towards a fire EMS person.
But
So,
I don't know that you can remove the overtime.
Just, you can't do
entirely.
that. You get
well,
somebody...
you leave it in the budget. So you
No, ma'am,
take...
you can't, you have an hourly employee that if they work overtime, you have to pay them overtime. There's no getting around it.
But I'm not saying that we make him an hourly employee. I'm saying that we move that position to exempt position, which means no
No, we're not gonna,
overtime.
no, we're not gonna do that because that's not the deal that was made 2 years ago for the position.
And I understand that, but that was 2 years ago, and
Yeah.
that were old budget
And
and
now-
an old board.
And-
This is a new budget and a new board.
I don't think you can take an existing employee and make that kind of call. I don't,
Um,
I mean, your basic, I think you're gonna get us into trouble here. I think you need to be careful.
All I asked for was to make it salary or leave it alone. I presented the 2 budgets that you asked me to present last week. I gave them to you. It's basically pick one. I make the numbers work within that budget. And again, and that's why you voted to have the strong chief form of government, to take the politics out of this. And this is nothing but politics with this position. That's all it is.
But the
So-
budget is the ultimate decision. of the selectmen.
Absolutely. So you give the fire chief the budget, and he has to live within it.
Yeah. The one thing that I guess I would like to see is I think that when you're given a budget of X number of dollars overtime, I was disappointed to see that it had gone over.
Mhm.
So that would be my area of disappointment here, was that it had gone over.
Right, and my
what was
continued
actually
comment of you can
budgeted.
have overtime, but you don't need to spend overtime. It's not an open wallet. So,
That's what I think it
And
was
we don't-
originally
we don't
planned
use it.
for.
We don't use it as that, but it's here, it's a year later, things are busier. So, we control the cost as best we can. And like I said, and that was for, again, that was for the whole year. It may be less this next 6 months. I don't know what it's gonna be. We can only project how busy we're gonna be. Just like with call wages. We don't know how many building fires we're gonna have. We don't know how many car accidents we're gonna have. We can only estimate based on the past years of experience, just like the 2 full-timers that we have. We've estimated 3 to 4 hours of overtime a week. We don't know how many days they're gonna have an ambulance call at 5:30, and they're gonna be here past 6 o'clock when they supposed to get off duty. We can't tell how many times that's gonna happen through the year, or, when they get called back and we need all the Entry, we need everybody. So it's difficult. We do our best to stay within the budget. We're doing pretty well overall right now. I think we'll be, for the year, the department will be within budget, but, and again, we did some things along with the call wages and the staffing and everything. As you saw, the first couple of months of the year, we were at around $13,000 for our call wages. In the last 3 months, we've been around six or seven. So we've done things to try to reduce it. So we're very cognizant of the budget. We're always trying to find ways where we can keep the costs down. Again, but it takes time to get people trained to do all these things. There's a multitude of things that we have to do in a lot of different areas of training, and limited people to be able to get that training.
Tom, were you able to find, last week we'd asked you to go back and see if you could find any more information on the salaries, on the numbers that you presented, to see if it was a flat salary or if it was salary plus overtime. Were you able to find out anything?
I got a couple answers that Hudson gave me. They're looking to do what we did a couple years ago. They're looking to, if they have the money in their budget for a fire marshal, which the starting salary would be about 70 to 72,000, but minimum is gonna be a lieutenant. In theirs, that's what they're looking at. If it's approved, right now they have like deputy chief, he does a lot of the inspections, and lieutenants go out and do F-26 inspections with a crew. So not just the lieutenant does it, it's a learning thing. That's Hudson, the only ones that responded. So they take everybody, so even if the firefighter can do it, and they come out as a crew, not just one guy, lieutenant, couple firefighters, so they all do it and learn it together.
So not enough information, really. Let me throw something out there. I don't have a problem with the salary, it being salaried. The salary is presently, I forget,
67.
No, the hourly
The present.
wages. The hourly wages is 67.
Right,
and change.
67. Yeah. I mean, if the overtime had been less, we wouldn't be talking about the 80,000, because you wouldn't be able to go up to 80,000. You know, each year you've used all of the overtime.
Pretty close.
Yeah. I don't think that was the intention when we agreed originally. We left it there in case, but
Well, my
that,
previous liaison said, you got that number to spend, just don't go
previous
over it.
liaison's only one person.
And
though.
I know that, and then communications, that's why we've been trying to work on communications
Yes.
with everybody. And again, there were promises that were made to,
Got to make sure the
individuals.
promises are coming from the board.
I wasn't the chairman of the board, so
But regardless, you're chairman of the board, then you're speaking.
Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it
You-
comes
you
from the
can't-
board, it doesn't come from one.
I know that,
Mhm.
but,
I was just thinking if there was some way to go between what you're saying and what you're saying as a salary, if that would work.
So to increase to make it an exempt position, not eligible for overtime, and you're saying up the 67 to something.
Right. About 75.
It's an $8,000 increase, you're talking a $2,000 difference. I mean, to me,
There'd be
that's,
no overtime.
no, you're
Or
talking about a $5,000 cut in pay.
it's not a cut and pay though,
It
because
is.
it is
it's overtime isn't guaranteed,
Right.
but overtime is looking at being guaranteed.
Just throwing it out there. You have an opinion?
Well, I gave my
You-
opinion.
okay, so you're sticking to it.
I think
Okay.
I would stick to it just because I would, yeah. Yeah.
Well, the other option is that you stick with the salary, oh, not the salary, but the hourly, which is at 67 plus COLA, which is about 69, I believe. And see what, I think the only reason we're doing this is because we're concerned that we're not in the ballpark. If we were sure we were in the ballpark with the position, that's the concern.
But we did that 2 years ago. We got all that information. We relayed all that information, and
I-
it was
well,
approved.
I know,
It was
but
a-
I guess-
It was approved by the board, it was approved by the finance committee, and again, it's
All right.
just because a couple of people don't like it, doesn't mean it
No,
has to
that's
go
not
away.
true.
Oh, it
That's
is.
No, that's not true. I mean, we're trying to do what is fiscally responsible for the town. I mean, that is our charter, and we need to look at if money is being spent appropriately. It has nothing to do with personality. You've noticed that there have been no mention of names.
Today,
Paul, I'm not going to sit and argue with that point with you. Unfortunately, we've gone round and round. None of us can control what is said on any ground in Berlin, so that becomes a moot point.
Okay.
People are going to talk.
So, you made a motion, I believe, but it wasn't seconded.
Correct.
Do you want to try another one, or we'll have Lisa make a motion, or I will make a motion?
I'm gonna move that we leave this the same for this year.
The
And
overtime
rate.
and the
Yeah.
hourly rate.
Yeah, and let the new chief have some say and opinions on it in the next go-around. But for me, like I said, we did do the research that I know is, and I don't know how much overtime they're getting, but I do know that the research that I was given last year was the way that the position is structured is the way that we structured it.
Chris?
Mm-mm.
Yeah?
Limit him.
Okay.
All right, so there's no contract, as Peg pointed out the other day.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever the four of you decide is what can be decided. In many departments, the chief picks up part of the load. And I think in this department, that can be done as well to reduce the hours. And in the research that some of you know I did, most of the departments don't have, none of the departments have full-time fire marshals. and only one that I researched had a part-time fire marshal. The rest was picked up by officers, firefighters, and chiefs. And their taxpayer cost was far less than what you're contemplating.
Okay, thank you. This is the one, 694, 131,
Mhm.
is the one that we're contemplating.
That's
I like,
That's the
I like
one-
this format better, but okay.
That's the one without
person.
the additional 84 hours a week per diem. The other one, and it takes,
And which one are you,
both of
were
those
you
took
working
out,
off of?
both of those took out all of the step increases.
Okay.
Okay,
And the 694 takes out the 84 hours a week of additional per diem coverage. The 763
This
adds in the extra 84 hours a week
one is that one.
of per diem coverage.
And the per diem for me does go back to, that goes back to safety. That goes back to
Mhm.
increasing the safety of our citizens. So I would prefer to not lose that.
Otherwise, they're the same dollar amount, so to speak. It's just that the 694 puts more money into call wages and a little bit more into overtime to cover, because we're not having, if we don't have that other per diem stuff.
So yeah, so you're talking a 70-ish round-up math difference between that one and that one.
right.
That
And this
that
year's,
doesn't give you a body, that gives you a body.
yeah. And the difference between this year's and next year's is about, what, $8,700 or something like that.
Well, this only
'Cause we're at
reduces the
685
budget
right
by
now.
about, not even 40,000.
What's that?
This one would not, it would only reduce by whatever, 37,000 approximately,
Is it-
from what you were requesting originally.
Oh, for request, yes.
Yes.
Yes, but,
So that would bring it down to about 7%
Correct.
increase in your budget.
correct,
Um,
with the additional person, or
Right.
the additional hours.
The other option is we approve a bottom line and you figure it out. It's a tough decision, isn't it?
Oh, I,
When it's put in your ballpark
that's,
too,
I-
you know?
I told you last week, give me a number. Give us a number and we'll make something work. We'll give you the best we can for the
And
dollars
then
that
you have to
are
go through
appropriated.
FinCom, where
What's
they
that?
may, then you have to go to FinCom.
Wednesday
where they
night.
may be- Where they may be telling you to reduce it some more. Even if we don't, they
Correct.
will,
Correct.
I'm assuming. Um,
But my concern is that usually when you cut people, and to Lisa's point, we can't cut people. I mean, and that's.
Well, we
us-
can't continue at a 9% increase every year for
Well,
fire.
I
We have to
underst-
get a handle on it.
And I said, the first budget is about $8,700 more than last year. The 694, we were 685 last year. So,
685, 799, that's.
That's the original request.
Right.
So your additional is 113.
but not as opposed to the 694.
Right, and 6,
So 685.
My understanding
To
is
694.
these staffing increases were planned over time.
over a
These
period
aren't-
of time, but not necessarily as quickly perhaps as we can pay for it. That's
I'm-
my opinion.
Again, I'm proposing it.
Yep.
Whether you can afford it or not this year, that's for you and FinCom to decide. But the other budget is only $9,000 more than last year.
No, not the
Mhm.
total.
This one, 694. The budget, this is the one.
Yes, you're
that-
right,
yeah,
694.
Right.
That's
so-
right.
So it's,
I don't want to see those particular cuts,
Right, but that's
but if
not
we
a
approve
person.
that bottom line, you can figure it out, and hopefully.
if you approve that bottom line, then we're
You're
gonna
gonna
have
do it.
everything, but we're not gonna have the
Person.
person. Like I said, we took out all the step increases and everything, so unless at some point in time down the road here, if you just say, we're gonna give everybody a step increase, then everybody gets a step increase, but I took those out like you directed me
Yeah.
last week.
So what about the professional and tech services? In 18, it was 34, in 19, it went up to 75, and this year's back down to 73. That's a gigantic jump.
It was the ALS intercept fees.
All right, I'm gonna make a motion that we go with the 763, 529, and just bottom line, and figure it out. And we'll see what FinCom has to say too. That's my motion.
And that includes.
A person.
Which one is, that's
That's a person.
Well, it could or
What's
could not
the-
include,
Okay.
he could change
All
whatever he.
right, and what's the other
It'll-
piece of that one? Because there were like 5 of these budgets, so I'm still trying to figure out which elements actually.
Everything
make
else,
it.
everything's whole.
Okay.
No
No
step
changes,
increases
no-
to anybody.
Okay,
It
so everything's the
reduces.
same except
It
the step
reduces
increases
to
came out.
120, the fire chief line item.
Okay.
And it puts enough money in there to do 84 hours a week of per diem coverage, firefighter EMT coverage.
Okay.
Do you ever get any input from your
So
guys?
person.
From,
All you
Didn't she say
guys
we were
about,
taking
you know,
one with the
I think we need
person?
this, I think we
Yeah, but
don't
she's
need
Oh,
gonna
that.
it
give
just-
him,
it's
like,
not a
that
vacuum.
bottom line to
no, it's
say-
with the
Right, right, right.
officers, yeah.
This one doesn't
Oh,
have
no,
the
no,
person?
absolutely.
No, this one.
I'm going
has
by,
the
again, we
person.
keep trying different things to get the right coverage at
But
night,
she's
and that's why we've gone, we went to 6
Take
groups,
this,
now we're back
take
down to
this
4
number,
groups to try to get the right
and kinda
coverage.
like
But,
redo
again,
this,
if we
but
had
get it
one
back to
person
that number.
here,
I mean, my
it
concern
would be
is they
easier to
can't
get that ambulance out the door, and we could probably reduce some more of the
Okay.
call wages
So this one has the person.
by the type of staffing,
And it
so.
just leaves
We're
days,
talking about, maybe
whatever,
next year doing
alone.
a stipend
Okay, I'm
coverage
fine with that.
for people who stay at the station,
You know, I
so.
think that we have someone new.
we're talking
potentially
about that
coming
too.
in
We're
who's
trying-
gonna- will
But you don't
get
have it
all of this,
budgeted
I
yet, do
hope.
you?
No.
Well
And I
then.
think that we could fight almost
I mean, the
all
next
this,
year. Who knows what's gonna happen?
So, even if
Got a
The
budget
deputy's,
for it.
the deputy's the only one that knows everything that's going on here.
it can still get,
I know, what?
yeah,
Okay.
okay.
So I made the motion, did I hear a
Okay,
second?
So we're at the 763 and we're.
529.
Okay, good.
So
Second.
I'm gonna change this number down here. Read me the number.
763, comma, 529.
Okay.
And I don't know what, I can do the math later.
Did the chief sign that?
Not yet.
Mm-mm.
Do you want to just redo the whole thing, or?
No, well, why don't we do it this way first? So I made the motion. Somebody seconded it?
Yep.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, I'm going to sign this. And then you need to sign that right there. Well, that was quick. Doctor's signature.
With
All
a
right.
name like mine.
Yeah, I know. And I think we're good.
We'll be
Also
fortunate that
attach
later.
the copy of the budget that he had printed out.
What's that?
Attach the copy of the
Yep.
Give him the-
763 budget to that.
Yes.
I'll put it together.
And what are all these? Do I need to sign these too? Oh,
Capital.
That was, yeah,
Capital.
that was all this capital stuff.
um,
So one's for truck,
they're
one's
still
for.
all, they're all, you haven't taken any of them out?
No, we talked about it last week and asked what the difference was in the weight. Some prices went up, some prices went down, that's the differences.
Okay.
And you'll talk to capital planning about that.
We.
The capital planning.
We.
We.
Whew, okay.
Okay.
All right, so do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
Is there any other comments or questions? Hearing none, take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. You have to sign these, I believe.
See. Need a date, January 7th.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For a couple more hours.
For a couple more hours. We can extend this meeting to tomorrow. It's
Oh,
not a
God.
problem. Just saying.
All right, I've already lost the
Agenda,
budget that I was attaching to this.
I gave it to you.
Nope, that's not it. Or is it?
Let me see.
Yes, it is.
That's it. Okay, signed.
Thank you. Alrighty.
I'm free to go?
Maybe.
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 You better look out for her. Jeez.
I'll
Thank
teach
you.
you how to get out of
There,
the
there we-
scrap. It's all
Thank you.
good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for putting up with me.
I get a hug. All right, right on.
I didn't want to go around the table.
Thank you.
All right, we are moving on to legal expenses. I don't know if there was some confusion when I called Brian Mazur or emailed him. I called him, I left him a message, I emailed him. I think he finally realizes what I'm asking, and he's directed me to get in contact with Lauren Goldberg. And so
I like
that's,
working with her.
and so that's what I was waiting for. However, if it is our choosing, we could just go ahead and approve this, but, or want to wait.
Let's wait.
Wait,
Get the
Probably too low.
information.
you went low?
No, no,
It's,
no.
it's too low.
This might be too low.
70?
We're proposing 70
Yeah, that would be too
for
low.
next year.
Get the information so that we're making a valid
All right.
Yep.
choice.
Okay. All righty.
So we'll defer.
Defer. Town administrator. And did we get any information from Chief Galvin
Which one did,
Oh, that was for.
on furniture or
Furniture,
cell phone?
laptop. I saw the email go out, I never saw one come
I
back.
didn't either. I think
Oh,
it may
really?
have just gone to you.
Okay, hold on.
Did you get one?
Yep.
I didn't see anything here, really.
You are right.
Nothing?
Currently, cell phones are handled by individual departments. I didn't plan on a laptop, so cell phones are to be budgeted. I didn't plan on a laptop, but could find a way to do it in the data budget, so you don't have to worry about a laptop. There are several used office furniture places in the area. He's making recommended, but it's not,
Right. So anyway, what we need to decide is, do we add anything additional in expenses?
What did we have last time?
We only have the salary.
Okay, then probably.
Grand? Are we gonna need stationery?
everyone computer generates their own.
Yeah, yeah, but like a letter? Return envelope? Just asking. Nominal? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like, I don't know, 100 or something for a hundred.
Yeah,
I
we
forget
need
how
to
much
do
it
like
was
a-
last
I think more than
Wait a
1,000.
minute, it might have been
I think
100 for
that's
500 envelopes.
Like 1,500? Going.
Yeah, but what are they gonna need the expenses for?
You've also
Business
got to figure out
cards, print.
dues, education.
Right.
Dues,
Yeah,
mileage,
education, mileage.
phone, cell phone.
Office furniture is actually not cheap.
Or you keep them right here in the office and don't make them leave.
So, 2,500?
I didn't.
Well, this is a
How's
setup year, you're not gonna
June?
have this every year.
How does 2,500 sound? You got thoughts? You see more numbers than we do, is why I'm asking. And you just ordered furniture. You ordered filing cabinets, but
Well, I get filing cabinets every year.
I know, but
If we can get them used, it's better. But they're about $300, give or take.
2,500 sound like a good number, or is it high or low, or?
Trying to think what my maintenance. Yeah, that's probably.
Is that, would that
about what my
include a cell
expenses
phone?
are. Nope.
No, cell,
No cell phone.
well, cell phone is what, 100 a month?
Well, I think, I seem to remember the building inspector budget about 1,500, something like that for a year.
Well, it depends
Sound
upon
right?
your plan, depends upon your phone.
Well, if they don't have a phone too.
Yeah, but
Well, you
people may not
can't-
want to mix
yeah.
personal phone with work phone.
This is one where they need to be accessible all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. 5,000 total?
Oofa.
I know. Good.
You could always do
It's
the
not
25
saying you
or the
have to
3 and then wait and see what happens. It's the
Yeah.
first
You don't
time,
have to
so-
spend it.
Yeah.
Right.
And FinCom may cut it too, so.
Correct.
You gotta find them an office too, so they may not have a desk, they may be using yours.
They can have it. They can have
We
it.
can go meet in meeting room.
Taking
How's
your
that,
office.
how's the committee going? You know, the one you were volunteered for? The space committee?
The space committee,
How's that
you
going?
know?
Rapidly, huh?
No, nothing? Okay.
Okay.
This room.
Why don't we put a subtotal of expenses to be voted on as an additional 5? We're budgeting for it, that doesn't mean
You
it
use
will
it.
be spent.
Mhm.
And we'll see what FinCom has to say too.
Okay.
Mhm.
I made the motion,
Second.
Yeah.
all in favor?
Aye.
That did include the 150 that we had budgeted for the salary too,
Okay.
in my motion.
Okay.
These are things the screening firm could probably help us with. That we haven't hired.
What?
These are things the screening firm could probably help us with that we haven't hired.
Could be. All right. I'm just signing it all, I don't. All right. Okay. We don't have a last name or a first name yet, do we?
Town common administrator.
All right, we've got a
Rec.
recreation budget.
And it was flat.
Yes, it was.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chris, didn't you say the bottom line, it added up?
Um,
Remember that?
It did. I don't know why. They've got a subtotal to be voted on is 12,760. And when I added this up, it added up to 12,760, but they only put 12,000.
Ah,
So I'm gonna change it.
to 12,760.
Yeah, because I'm
I
pretty
just don't know,
sure.
is that level funded? I'm not sure if I put last year's budget right behind it to see if that is level funded or not.
13,
11.
11.
No, wait a minute, that's the change.
So 15.
15.99, so it's actually less.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Okay.
That works too.
Yep. 1,760. You're checking the numbers, correct?
Oh, I try to.
Would you like my big giant calculator?
I like that one.
You can see it from
All
right
right,
there.
did I make,
like
make a
Russia.
motion to approve? Yes.
Yes.
And a second?
Yes.
And all in favor?
Aye.
All right, sick
Sick
pay
pay.
account.
We don't have any options on this one. This is just a number, right?
It was guesstimate.
It's a
Yeah.
guesstimate.
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I do have to say, we keep
We
pretty
have
close
to
the last couple of years,
basic.
so.
For sick time?
Yeah. It's never actually what it could be. It's probably double that, but
We'll just get some big balls of Lysol in the front of the building. Spray you down as you come in.
I don't see, Dennis was gonna make changes because of Edie. And
That
you
was
remember this
true.
conversation, right?
I didn't, well, I don't know if you did, he was gonna put in a revised budget
Yeah,
for his salary
And
and for
for
Edie
Edie.
to give her the minimum.
and I don't see it. Did we, so.
He never gave it.
Okay. Just a quick discussion on that. The numbers, I was right last week, the numbers that personnel gave were not the same that he put on there. The numbers that personnel recommended were actually higher. It was about 74,000 rather than 67 for the treasurer collector's salary.
That
He
could
doesn't
be-
care what you do, but
I think that the personnel said that the number that they originally recommended, which was 67, was a good start.
no, but they didn't recommend 67, they recommended 74.
They didn't have hours on it.
Yeah,
When I looked at it, the 67 was based on his hours now, not a 40-hour
not a
work week.
40-hour work week, so
Yeah.
74 is the correct number for that. And,
So are you talking about changing the treasurer collector, or
well,
just?
he was supposed to put in a revised budget, but it's not here, so we can't vote on it. I'm just giving you a heads up that this discussion happened. And also Edie's, had to be raised up to minimum wage, correct, or?
Yeah, he only did it for the first half, and he did it for the second half.
So do we need to relook at that one?
Yes, but we don't have
Can't
the
do it.
revised one, so we can't do it. I'm
Not
just
tonight.
telling you it should be coming, or it may be coming, or
Okay.
it was supposed to be here. Well, if we hire somebody
Oh,
new,
yeah, gotcha.
it will be
It would
40
be 40
hours, so
hours.
we must plan accordingly.
So
Okay.
could you email him?
Do you want to email him, Lisa? Let him know that, to get
We need it.
those back to us for next week?
Does budget ever end?
No.
No,
Okay.
it goes on forever and
It
ever
does.
You
and
get about a
ever.
month off between.
And then we go into the
May,
warrant
June.
process again for
Oh,
town
warrant, watch
meetings,
watch what's
so
gonna
there
happen
you
with the
go.
warrant.
What?
This
Date,
is way
boom.
faster this year.
Oh, wicked fast, yeah. This is
You
good.
guys are much
This is
above,
wonderful.
ahead of schedule compared to prior years.
But we're
Oh, I
gonna
know.
start it earlier next year,
The
Yes.
budget.
a month earlier.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's right to your budget.
So we have a reserve fund transfer for legal. And it says that the present balance is 8289. I thought it was more like under 2,000.
It is, but she didn't give me expenses. Is that the legal?
Yeah.
Yeah. When I wrote it down, that was what's on the books right now. The expenses haven't gone through yet.
Okay. Do I need to make
Flip the
note of
page.
that?
Flip the page.
Well, I just want, if this is going to FinCom, I want
Yeah,
it to
flip the page.
explain.
I wrote on it.
Yes, 1912,
20.
1,912. So does this packet all go? Okay.
Because you have to write an explanation there,
Yes.
and in there you will specify that after the current bills are paid, you're gonna need
Yep.
yeah.
Okay. That's what I was wondering.
I have no December bills yet. I have no bills for the month of December from all three, or actually two anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely gonna blow through that by the half-year mark.
So you probably won't even be able to cover the next bill.
Could be.
If there's
Depends on
only
what the
like
next bill is.
$2,000 left.
They average more
About
than that
2,000. Yeah.
per vendor per month.
Yep. Okay. Well, I can fill this out. Amount
Yes.
requested to be used for the following. Extraordinary foreseen in the following reasons. I can easily fill this out. We just need to decide on the amount that we're requesting.
Well, if she's saying if we blow through that, then
We've still got January, February, March, April,
15 is modest.
May, June.
They're still gonna wanna, in the past, they wanted to keep control and have it keep coming back to them while
Yep.
they're meeting. So 15 would be a light amount to start with.
You wanna do 15? You wanna do 20?
20.
Okay, is that good for you?
Yep.
Okay, I just wanna get something, the motion on record to say that we've approved a reserve fund transfer request for $20,000. Do I hear that motion?
So
You-
moved.
Is that correct?
Well, some rationale behind it too.
I will.
Okay.
I will fill that in. Is that all right with you guys?
Yeah, Lisa
Yeah.
motioned. I seconded.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'll leave this aside so I can fill it in. Alrighty. We've got,
Licenses.
yes, we do. And they're Berlin Auto Service, Village Power Equipment, Common Victualers, Subway, Solomon Pond Mall. I saw him running in here that day.
You should send him out for warrant articles when that time comes.
Yeah. Boom.
Yeah, you'll get 'em.
Motion to approve.
All right.
Seconded. And we got the one for Flat Penny, because that was missing
That
last
is
week.
paid.
It was-
You'd
Okay.
already issued it, but he didn't pick it up because he hadn't paid. Now it's paid.
Okay. He paid cash, correct?
Money order.
Money order, okay. We got a few to sign. All right, so,
Did we
motion
mo-
made and seconded. All in
See.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. One, two. Three. So the next thing we have on the agenda is the FY19 Community Compact Grant Contract.
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This will hopefully help us out with the HR, some policies, procedures,
Mm-hmm.
personnel spreadsheets.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas isn't listening. So did we
What's your
just?
grant for your HR help?
Can I ask a question about that?
Mm-hmm.
That's all for the attorney's office doing that. Are we actually working with somebody in HR, or are they only looking at the legal aspects of things?
I think they're only looking at the legal aspects of it. It would be,
So we do
KP
not-
Law will be doing the work of,
The legal aspect.
yeah.
So this does
But I
not-
think they're
thought-
actually gonna offer personnel policies and procedures.
But not update the spreadsheet.
No,
As in go
They're
around and
gonna-
make phone calls and
I
make
think they're gonna
comparisons.
give us another, they're
The
gonna look
attorney's
at,
office
they're gonna look at
will do that
methodology.
versus having a
I know that
actual
that was,
HR service do it.
that was what we requested.
it
And,
did say.
it just-
Tim
it's-
knows that's what we
yeah.
requested.
Mhm.
It just sounds funny to me to have an attorney's office doing that versus having somebody who's actually
I would agree.
an HR person. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I just
But
want.
I know what the intent was, and I'm sure that Tim was clear on the intent.
Because when I talked to Tim originally, that was my big question, and he
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
that he would get back to me afterwards.
Okay, I mean, we
So,
can ask, but I
As long as it's covered, that's my only
believe the
fear. I hate
intent was,
losing it.
look at this and tell us how to make it better.
Right.
Right, but telling us how to make it better
Well,
versus
And
make
telling
doing
us
it, make
do
it better.
are two
We are
huge
paying you to
different
make it better.
things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did we take a vote?
Aye.
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 Did now.
Now we did.
All right.
It was nice when we had town management, because I saw him every week.
Well, I believe the email that he sent, that I forwarded, said included the spreadsheet,
Yeah.
working on the spreadsheet.
Yeah. Like I said, I know the intent of this,
Yep.
because it was all voted and then.
Okay. I think we got it all. Let me know if I didn't. All right. We can talk about 13 and 14 together. Or we can talk about liaison roles first.
Let's just go down the
Go down the,
order. So we'll do liaison and then.
okay.
follow up.
All right, so we had a meeting with department heads back, is it December?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, time
Cabela's.
flies.
Cabela's.
Yep. And some of the things that we discussed, one of the things we discussed was the liaisons to departments. The department heads had said that their suggestion was to eliminate the liaisons, and hopefully communication would improve if everybody takes advantage of communicating with the board, either through all three of the members, through Mary, and having things forwarded so that we all have the same information. And also having a written monthly report by certain
Mhm.
department heads of our choosing. Or they, I mean, it would be nice if they, even if they came to a meeting and instead of just writing the report, once a month, perhaps.
I like that. I mean, it's, you make it consistent across the department heads, you come up with a template, doesn't have to be very detailed, and then you put them on a rotating schedule every month. 5-7 minutes, bloop, come in. This way the three of us hear it, we can talk about it, then off they go, next one comes out.
And I think the most important thing is to make sure that when there's an issue
Hello.
that comes up,
It's to the whole board.
it's to the whole board.
Right. I mean, I don't think that this doesn't restrict us from going and hanging out at those meetings, but it's just a way for the information to come back to the three of us.
I would also say that I would keep the liaison roles in respect to when we've got something that's gotta go back.
Do we bring it back?
So that if there's something that needs to like union negotiations right now until the TA comes in, I'll be doing the union negotiations because I've been doing them all along.
I think that's sort of a
Those
given.
are, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I think having it still exist in that form is important, because I think there's a lot of times we just need to push information or go have a conversation or go, you'll say, you know, somebody's got this problem and we know which person is gonna go and talk to so-and-so about how we're gonna address it or what their options might be. So
All right.
I think the reports and the meetings or the coming to the meetings is good plan. I just think you can't just totally ditch it at this point.
So do we start them for February?
Start.
The monthly reports and visits?
Okay. Were you gonna come up,
I did, and guess where it is?
you came up with like an example or
I
something?
did, and it's
Yeah.
in my
The
bag.
dog ate my homework.
Yeah, no, it's in the bag. It's in the bag. Everything's in the back of my laptop bag.
Did your daughter use that on you?
Yeah,
Dog
good
ate my
luck.
homeworks. I'd just say that
I'll
was
mail
really-
it. I'll mail it tonight when I get home. You
All
can
right.
you can all three get it. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I'll put that down as an action item. Killing me. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. All right.
All right, so basically, I mean, even, for example, the, like, here at the meeting, we said, Lisa, could you ask Dennis such and such, and, you know, that's kind of the way it should be, I
Yep.
think. So are we clear on this?
Mhm.
We're gonna do the,
Right, we'll tinker with the template, and then once we tinker with the template, we'll come up with an email to send it out to all the department heads, and we'll say, this is what it's gonna be February, whatever our first meeting is in February, and we'll come up with a schedule for when you come visit.
okay. That's your action item. Well,
Wow!
at least part of it.
No, I got it. I got you.
Weekends together,
Sorry.
weekdays apart.
Is he watching TV during our
Is
meeting?
he watching TV?
I think he might have a strange ringtone.
Yes, I think that's
I
what.
think it's a strange ringtone.
All right.
Okay.
Catch the football game.
Ah,
Clemson's
Oh,
winning
that's right. Who's
14-7.
winning? Clemson?
Clemson, 14-7. Sorry, I hit the wrong button.
Okay, so it
But
wasn't a
we're-
ringtone. We thought you had a weird ringtone.
But were there any gross broken ankles in that game like there
No.
was in Dallas?
No.
Okay, just checking.
All right, so one of the next things that we talked about at the department head meetings was the personnel committee. We are still pursuing another person to be on personnel, as I'm talking to the public and the audience. And we do have a backup plan for anybody who has a conflict of interest who's on the committee. We would have one of the board members sit in for whoever has a conflict who's on the board.
And that can
And
rotate.
I think one of the main things, other than the conflict of interest, was just, the departments need to be involved.
Mhm.
Capital planning and finance and personnel, it needs to be a team effort. Nobody can do stuff in a vacuum, and I think that, sometimes in our hurry to get things done, maybe not all the key players are where they need to be.
Okay, that was the next thing, capital planning. I think there was a suggestion of developing goals for better communication. I don't know if that was directed at the finance committee, or we could all do with that.
We
I
can all deal
think,
with it.
yeah, and I think this is another area where the TA, it is their job to facilitate communications, and we kind of need to hold tight and see how that plays out, and then address, because that's one of the fixes that's coming.
Hopefully. We talked about the fact that the budget letter needs to go out in October. So that means we will start working September on,
August.
because it takes some preparation for the budget letter to even
The biggest thing that
go
has to
out.
be done was we have to make sure that the reviews are in and those are finalized and we get the COLAs
Yeah,
as soon as possible, so that way the budgets can be started, because until you have those, you can't do anything. As far as you can't actually start passing in budgets, you can start working on them, but
so we need to have a series of, this is what happens at by this date, this date, this
well, that's
date.
kind of what the calendar is.
Right, that's what I was saying.
Yep.
The calendar, that's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah, so we gotta update that, so
Yes.
that's maybe a month out.
All right, and I do think that's a good idea. That does seems like, here we are.
Mhm.
It's the 7th of January, and of course, we're We're doing pretty good, we really are.
Okay.
Because it's like February, March sometimes before we get all the budgets done.
Okay.
We really are.
I don't think she thought we were doing bad. I think she just thinks it's hateful and she's right.
Ah, okay.
I didn't say
Am
that. Didn't come
You
out of my
didn't-
mouth.
You didn't say it.
Didn't say it. Mm-hmm.
I think we had a little bit of discussion on the fact that Mary's position at some point may change, the report may change, who she reports to may change. That'll be a discussion that we'll probably have with the town administrator. We are going to have a discussion at the, and I'll change it to the 14th, I had originally put down the 7th, on some consolidation or reorganization of several town departments. It's been on our radar for a while, and we will have that discussion if anybody's interested and wants to come. And Dave, are you coming?
Have the key players been
Yes, please.
invited to that
I'm
meeting?
looking forward to it.
Okay,
At
good.
at Board of Health and Cemetery.
Do we want to
and-
do we want to let those people know
Yes, we do.
for the 14th?
Yeah,
All right.
I think you
Mary,
have to,
can
because I
you
think it's
send out something?
part and
already
parcel
did.
of the whole
I'm
thing.
gonna check right now.
Okay, good. We talked about the town administrator and the need for one who is experienced. We talked about the fact that HR is needed. It could be the town administrator, or it may be a part-time employee. And that's all I've got. I don't know whether you have anything you want to add, either one of you?
Nope.
I think, does that cover everything?
Pretty much. I think we do have to, I think if agendas could be finalized more than they have been on Thursdays.
And that is my fault,
And
as you
department heads,
see.
that's fine. I just want to make sure, we need to have them.
We're, I think we're doing pretty well. I did look up the law, and you need to do as much as you can 48 hours ahead of time, but if something does come up, then you need to post it as soon as possible.
And then the other thing is just making sure, like I just said, with the discussion we're having with the facilities thing, we need to make sure that when people are on the agenda, that
Yes.
they are notified.
Yes. You're notified. You should stay home tonight, because next week you gotta be here. All right. What do we got here? Other, I think we covered it. Other new business? Anybody?
I have some new business.
Do you?
Come on down.
I'm sorry here, thank you.
Okay.
So, UMass Transportation Center, in conjunction with Mass DOT, has a program where they go into VOTEC schools and do a educational type of workshop, if you will, several days, depending on what the course content is, it may go several weeks. Usually it's seniors in the VOTEC school. When they get to a point, they're looking to place some of these kids in a real work environment on a co-op program. They asked if us, the town, would be interested in taking on a student on a co-op program. It's 100% reimbursable through the state. We have to pay the individual, submit documentation, and we will get reimbursed. Not saying that they have somebody, but I just want to have that option open if they do come up with an individual from a regional school and they want to come here, that we have that option open.
Would they work in, per se, your department?
They work in the highway department.
Okay.
Do they do that with building also, or is it just highway?
They're just focused on highway. It's a
Okay.
transportation.
Yep. Okay. Do we need to budget to pay them initially?
So there is money. I checked with June, and she said she'd give up part of her salary.
Nice.
So
Wow.
I do have money to fund such a thing.
Okay.
And,
Because I think that's wonderful.
It
I do
is.
too.
It's great.
Those are,
That's a great,
that's
that's a
what we
great
want to be
idea.
doing,
Yeah.
so.
Give
I
back.
think, I did it in a previous address, and it was a lot of fun, actually. But we had a technical school right in town, so we were pulling people out of,
We are a member of Assabet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's nice.
yeah. And let us know if there's anything the board needs to do.
all right.
That's great.
That's awesome. Thanks, Mr. Dave.
Okay, any other new business?
I got two.
Okay,
A meeting with the member of the historical committee on Friday morning down at the Bullard House, because I have been told that the information provided to us is grossly inaccurate in terms of what needs to be done and cost. So I'll come back to you Monday with an update
okay.
on that.
Have fun.
You gonna update us during the...
You don't want to come? Can I text the both of you?
Yeah.
Drive by?
Hey,
You know,
I-
if you go
I
have coffee at the
actually
general
wouldn't
store,
mind.
you can
I
swam on
haven't
in.
actually been inside the Bullard House, so if you want company, I'm happy to take along.
9 o'clock.
And when
Want
is
to
it?
make it a 3-sub? Come on.
Where is it?
This Friday.
This Friday?
It have to be a
Okay, let me
chance
check.
meeting, otherwise we need to post
Yeah, it's a
it.
chance meeting.
Yeah.
You know, like you drive by, you see my car, you come up and go, hey, I know you don't drink tea, but here's a coffee. Just saying. You know, light 2 sugars. And then, yeah, I just, and so are we a go for the 17th? Can we start to post that on the town website and Berlin Neighbors Connect?
Yes.
Okay.
I did confirm with Leanne that we were gonna use the building. I did actually,
Same time?
this was
Same
something
bat
I
time?
think that,
Same bat channel?
you
7
know, one
o'clock?
of the other things I'd like to talk about is just the fact that right now the negotiation for the land swap is off the table. However, we're still looking for other options.
Yep.
There may be some forthcoming information that I'm hoping to bring the board at some point in another week or two.
Okay.
I think Leanne would not mind having an idea of what we're gonna talk about, because she's posting it
Oh, yeah,
also.
yeah. Okay.
So whatever, I don't know if you have a specifics, or besides the weak chief, strong chief,
Trash.
or we just let Peg go at it.
Yeah, baby. All right. No, I can
That's-
come up
I
with
mean,
something. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
to remind me.
Okay.
Well, I thought the whole point of this was, you know, you did have a topic, but I thought the whole point of this was for people to come
Yep.
and bring their own topics, not
Right.
for us to come up with topics.
No,
Right.
but the only thing that I want to do is just to make sure that if the conversation drags, that we do bring up stuff, because, I mean, I've been trolling Facebook, and, you know, once
God,
again, there's the
don't
whole,
do
hmm?
I said, don't do that.
No, I have been. I've been signing your name to multiple things. You know, there's the whole stuff about the trash again. You know, what can we do with that? And then there was some discussion around the land swap about some magical conservation committee to buy land, and it's like, well, if we'll see where that one goes, and the whole thing about strong chief, weak chief, and I know we've
It
been
is
talking.
a good idea, I think, to have some subjects.
There.
But if people want to bring up things that
Bring 'em
they're
up.
concerned with, that's,
Absolutely.
you know,
Yep.
if the purpose is to get feedback from people, whether it's on
Correct.
something we need feedback
Yep.
from, or they have to want to give us feedback.
Right, so we can have some in
Right.
hand. And then, but like last time, we'll just let them go. So 7 o'clock on the 17th? Yes?
Yes, I think that's what we reserved the room for. Am I correct?
I saw 6:30 at one point, but it's 7?
I
No,
don't
I think it's
think
7.
it's-
7?
And we'll have to post a meeting, I guess, for that too.
So don't specifically post that it's about the chief.
No,
It's
it's
just
just,
a
it's.
general coffee
right,
chat, no
it's-
votes will be taken, exact same as.
Right.
Absolutely,
Okay, gotcha.
it's coffee 2.0.
Okay. I'll post that
2.0.
tonight.
2.0,
Put it on Facebook and yada yada.
okay.
All right. Are you,
I know, so do you want me to take that as an action item, and I'll come up with something, or can we just steal Mary's stuff from last time?
Oh,
Uh,
I'm gonna, do you wanna change the?
No.
I'm gonna do it. Oh, so I'm just doing it tonight, right? I'm gonna post it?
Yeah, post it on the town one, and then
On
I'll
Facebook.
steal it and we'll
Okay.
share it on Facebook, and I'll keep it out there. And then we'll get something to Leanne so she can put it out there. Same thing, we'll just steal all the way around.
don't say steal.
Borrow. Why, if it's not broken,
That's
why?
right.
There you go. Okay.
Okay. Old business.
Okay, I emailed Jeff Zangy about the Assabet thing, And he said there was a time when we took all 8th graders on a tour of Assabet, but that was stopped because the practice resulted in a lost day of instruction. What we do instead is allow students to visit Assabet during the day with an excused absence. In addition, our counselors visit each 8th grade classroom to discuss Assabet and what they have to offer. An Assabet representative also visits Tohoto during the day. We allow students to sign up to hear the presentation. If a student applies, we allow Assabet to conduct the interview at Tohoto so that the student does not need to travel. In terms of applications, we have 20 students applying this year, 2018, 2019. This is the most we've had in the last 4 years. So it seems to me that they do actually take steps to make it easy to choose Assabet or find out about Assabet if you want that as a choice.
Well, I do have to say that that's what they've been doing for years, and people are still complaining because they want,
Well-
and even the Assabet School Committee is complaining because they want to see the kids go for a day when the other kids are there.
Yes, but they have the option to do that. They
With an
have the
excused
option to
absence,
go,
right.
and their
They'd have to
absence
do
is
it-
excused.
Right.
So they
They'd have to
can-
do it like on their own, though.
Yeah.
Because it's not an organized day for them to go.
Yep, so they would actually have to want to go, you know, and make that step the same way that they fill out their college applications and do all these other things. This really seems to me like they make it
Usually they
pretty
sit
darn
at
easy.
lunch, I think, and the Assabet people are invited to come to lunch, I believe, for, during lunch to talk to kids. But I think they're looking for a little bit more than that. But,
Well,
yep.
I mean, 20 kids is pretty good.
Mhm.
Okay. Did you have a chance to talk about pooling health insurance with Dennis?
I did. I have an email out. I just heard from Bob Conray. I will talk to him. He said he was available Thursday or Friday. I will try to talk to him that day. It did not sound horribly promising from the email that I got back, but I will have the discussion.
That's kind of what I suspected. I think
Um,
Dennis felt the same way, that it
But
probably wasn't going to happen, but
I
it's
think-
worth checking into.
I think we have to have the conversation regardless.
Right. And I guess I have a question for Mary. Are we all set with the RWJ records request? What,
Something went out today. I
what
saw
do we
it whizzing
need
by.
to do? It
Yeah.
looks like there's a further deadline.
Didn't Mary suggest Judy as a potential to gather this information if she would be willing to do that? Because I think that's a
Well, she'd still need to go through all the selectmen's email and electronic files, which doesn't matter, there's nothing sensitive about them, I'm just saying that,
they're all public record.
Right.
It doesn't
Well,
matter.
there's some things that need to be redacted, like RWJ doesn't have the right to query social security numbers.
Yep.
But there's just so many of them to go through
Yep.
to make
So-
sure that they look like they're suitable for at least, Judy would be suitable to do it.
Okay. So that's our potential solution.
If she wants to do it.
Can
So-
we maybe talk to Judy about gathering these records since
You
there are
haven't
so
talked
many?
to Judy, have you?
About the records?
No, about doing this?
No,
Okay.
about the records, no, I
Yeah.
have not.
Okay.
So, Chris,
would-
do you want to touch base with her, or do you want
I
Mary
can
to
touch base with
Okay.
her, or,
I would be
Or she
working
could-
with her, so
or
I can
she's-
touch base with her about
That's
it.
fine,
Yeah.
however you want to do it.
But that's not what today's email was. Today's email was something different.
it was,
It
they
was-
they needed to wait a certain period of time before they made a complaint. All right,
Yeah. So there was no action required that I saw in that email?
no. Or, the other option is that we, at some point, may have to, I think, is our attorney being informed about all of this? I mean, I do believe we have sent things to him previously.
The
since-
Attorney General's office actually copied him on it.
Right, no, I'm saying,
Directly.
but our attorney, too.
Brian?
As far as
I'm talking
the
about our
requests for
attorney.
from our WJ.
They're aware of it.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
That records requests are our responsibility, and we have to give over the information that we have, so.
Yep,
Yeah, Brian Riley was on the email.
okay.
It's hundreds of emails.
But that's how the law works.
Okay. I just wanted to, I wasn't sure if I'd followed up with you on that, so I wanted to ask.
Yeah, because it said 30 days have now passed since you filed your complaint. may file your complete for further review with our office until 90 days have passed.
Do we have anything else?
Nope, I don't believe we do. I would take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Be safe, be